Aha! I have you in my sights. What's that? Yeah, that's pretty crusty. So, to get to that, let's see here. I might be able to sneak a socket in there. Don't know, maybe not. So what I just found is this coil capacitor ground. I'm going to pull it out, put it back in, pull it out, inspect it, and put it back in, see if it fixes the problem. But first, let me bolt that PCM back down. So I've got one bolt here that I've got to get on. Or one nut, actually. Now that tightened down, that'll hold the assembly on a large amount of the way so I can get to the bottom bolt. Loud noises. I actually try and spin that nut back on by hand and then just tighten it up with a socket because it is in a terrible, terrible spot. Yep, there it goes. I am determined. Okay. I am improving my night's seeing capabilities as I am able to see this bolt not without a flashlight. I see this as a good achievement. There we go. Now I just have to make sure. That's job one done. Next thing I'm gonna do is get the right socket. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this air box out and this hose out just to give me a little bit better access to see down in there, see what's going on. I may pull this throttle out and clean it. Might be smart.
Ask him where you got the orange pick.
The orange pick? I just got it off from our toolboxes.
Oh, but you need the pick.
It should be sitting on the table. That spot right in front of the Dodge. Should be sitting in front of it. Okay. I can't really see that much better than I could before. Yeah, I want to pull this out. Looks like it's held in just by two 10 millimeters. Interesting choice. Oh, three 10 millimeters. If you've just joined me, which doesn't make much sense because this is a YouTube video, but if you've just joined me, I'm taking this throttle off. Because I want to get to the ground in here, and it's behind it. There it is. There's our throttle assembly. Gummed up a little bit, but I can clean that off nice and easy like. Alrighty. Let's stick on the nut so I don't lose it. Much harder to lose larger components than a much smaller component. So I'm just threading these components together. Alrighty, now I can actually see that ground. And I think these are coolant hoses down here. So I am not going to pull these off because I don't want to spray coolant everywhere. But I can feel this ground now, and it does look a little bit crusty. But I may be able to sneak a pretty large socket up under there and get it. Let's see if I'm right. I believe I am. Price is right, you know what I'm saying? See it from your angle from the dangle. I'm actually gonna put you guys there. Yeah, actually you were perfect where you were. Flashlight, little trick from a technological generation. Use the light and the camera so that way you can see perhaps where your eyes cannot reach. I mean, that looks like I could sneak a socket up in there, but I'm not entirely sure. Well, I gotta see if the socket even fits first. I think it's a 15. Perfect, right on there. Come back. Ready, Lucy? Oh man, that's torqued on there. It's a reverse thread. No, it's not. It's just real torqued on there. Got it. Oh, because it's torqued into the head. So I gotta figure out what the torque spec is for that, because that was hefty. I could run an impact down to it, but I don't think that's the appropriate thing to do. There's our, oh yeah. That could have been our problem. Look at how crusty that is. And there is our ground. This could have been our problem. That looks pretty crusty. Alright, I'm gonna go meander this about with my coworkers and figure out an action plan here. So, got a meter. I'll set that up over here so you guys can see it. I'm gonna clean this bolt up a little bit. Clean that up real nice. Now what we're gonna do, set this to continuity, and we're gonna take the negative end where it grounds out, stick it right there, and then we're gonna take the positive end here, and we're looking for continuity. I am seeing absolutely nothing. Reverse it. Nothing. So, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Get rid of some of this rust, corrosion. And then retest it and see what happens. And then after that, I have one more test, and I'm going to probe the wire where the circuit grounds out to. And I'm going to probe one of the coils, the last coil in the section, and I'm going to see if that has continuity. Because if that has continuity, and this does not have continuity, this problem I can condemn this as being the issue. Let's try again. Power to power. Zero continuity. Not getting anything. Alright. Alright. I got one last test to basically condemn this ground. I'm going to push voltage, try and push voltage anyway, through the ground side of one of the coils with the with the multimeter here, and I'm going to try and probe into the ground wire and see if we are even getting continuity to the ground. Positive in there, our little ground. What I got here is meter lead. And there's a paper clip wrapped around it because a paper clip is conductive. So, I'm going to stick that in there. Then we're going to try and probe. I may have to do the same thing to this ground, but we're going to probe in here. I have continuity. Look at that. So we have continuity here. You can tell because the meter that in a place so you guys can see it. Oops. The meter. See how it changes? Sign of continuity. So, there we go. We basically just proved that this has no ground. So let's button it all back together and, well, let's deliver the news to the customer. So it's time for lightning fast reassembly before I run out of time. So I'm going to torque this to 40. I don't know, but I think this will fit onto the sockets I already have. Yes, it will. So, it's time to torque it. I'm only doing it to 40 because I don't have the internet right now, so I can't actually get to my database, and the internet doesn't really give me the information that I'm needing. I'm gonna pull this off. There we go. Now we can put it back on. Are any new technicians wanting to get into the field? This is why you don't buy Dodge. Actually, this is why you don't buy a lot of modern cars, because they just cram things into stupid spots. There we go. I don't like new cars. Got it. Okay. PCV hose. I've been doing that a lot. Okay. Yeah, I have to clean the throttle first. So let's do that. So, I got our throttle and our carb cleaner. Carb cleaner, throttle. So I'm not getting paid a whole lot for this, if any. If I can't fix it, I'm not getting paid anything, but the cleaning here, especially I'm doing for free $99, because I'm just that nice of a guy. And I also want this thing to run well if we can get it fixed, so I don't want to put it back together and then have to immediately take it back apart because I forgot to clean something and it runs like garbage. So we're going to go ahead and clean it up nice and easy. Oh yeah, much better that looks. Beautiful. Alright, so she went in like this. Nope, she went in like that. There we go. As with any other item that has a gasket, you must remember to take caution and to torque all the fasteners and tighten all the fasteners down in a crisscross applesauce pattern, because if you do not, there is a high likelihood that that gasket will fail, and we do not want that here. Whoops. Give that electrical connector a run for its money, that's for sure. No real need to torque a throttle body, honestly. Unless you're on, a Bentley or something, then you kind of want to torque everything to spec because it's a Bentley. If you mess up on a Dodge, you have to do the job again, and you lose like, I don't know, $500 maybe. If you do it on a Bentley, you lose like $5,000. So yeah, I know I'm gonna have to pull all this shit back off when I'm ready to change out the ground. But honestly, I'm not sure yet if the customer, the owner of this car, wants to do it, or if they want to just say screw it and scrap it. Let's plug this boy back in. You hear a click, but it's in. And pulling that off, and the stupid Dodge clips. Time for the airbox. And it went on a little something like this. I was putting it on backwards. There it is. There it is. Stick it on. Nice and tight. And let's tighten her up. Always a rule when tightening airboxes. These are just tightening plastic, so the hose clamps themselves are not that tight, they're not that thick, and they're not that robust, and not to mention they're screwing into plastic, and they're tightening on plastic, so be very careful when you are tightening these, unless, throttle body isn't plastic, most of the time. But things like airboxes, definitely. Always be careful, because you don't want to damage and crack the airbox tube by being a little bit too aggressive. As I said, though, throttle bodies, not that big of a deal. You don't want them coming off. Alright, guys. Let's put this back in. My work here is done until we get a go or no-go on this repair. The other thing that's wrong with this vehicle, we need 6 plugs because the plugs are shot. That is a very expensive job because the other plugs are way back there on the back side of the engine, and you need to go under the vehicle to get them. So that's an expensive one. I'd have to pull the whole intake off and all that, so that's great. So we're done with diagnosis. I believe that the component failure that we had here was that coil capacitor that's down there, and with that I can comfortably say that the capacitor had no continuity, and therefore it had no physical way for electricity to go through it, and therefore it has to be the problem. So that is a fairly cheap component. I would say that that is our issue. So I'm going to have a go or no go on that. That's going to be an expensive job in total because of the plugs. But other than that, I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out and see you guys in the next one.